Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. So guys, some big news in the boxing world today. Some unfortunate news. Amir Khan has been banned. It's kind of strange I'm saying this, but Amir Khan has been banned for 2 years. I'll tell you why it's strange I'm saying this. Amir Khan has been banned for 2 years for apparently, ingesting or taking a performance-enhancing drug. The reason why it's strange is because Amir Khan is retired. So I don't know what banning him is the purpose of banning him. Look, I think a lot of people have jumped onto a bandwagon like they do, like they did with the Conor Benn situation. Obviously, you guys know what I feel of what I think of Amir Khan and how, Amir Khan effectively got me into watching boxing. So this is obviously for me a bitter taste, especially now that I felt like with Amir Khan, it's been bad news after bad news, especially after, the Canelo fight, where I effectively think his boxing career ended. His whole life in general and boxing, it became almost a bit like a curse to Amir Khan. And people actually forget how good a fighter Amir Khan was in his early days. Amir Khan was an exceptional, talented fighter in his early days. Great fighter. But I feel like in the later years of his boxing life, I feel like he's remembered for all the wrong reasons of not having a great chin, some of the things that he's done in terms of publicity, PR, disasters that he's had. And now when I felt like things were actually coming around and people were actually starting to give him respect, obviously there's going to still be some people that give him a lot of hate, but actually he was starting to get the respect I thought he deserved. Then bang, he gets hit with this. And now you've got people questioning, was he cheating throughout his whole career? And it's sad because, like I said, Khan was like a hero to a lot of people. He got a lot of people into the sport. People don't know how many people Khan inspired a generation. I mean, of people, Asian people, not just in boxing, but I mean, in sporting period, because there was no one of that kind of stature, of that background before him. And people say Naseem Hamed, but that was very early in the 90s. And Naseem Hamed wasn't from an Asian Pakistani background. He wasn't from a Pakistani or Indian background. He was from Yemen, different part of the world. So Amir Khan was the first from that particular background who inspired a lot of people from that background. I think he had a very positive influence. Not just that, I think Amir Khan's a good guy. He does a lot of charity work. So it's sad that, this is come to this. But what I will say is that I believe Amir Khan. I don't think Amir Khan cheated. And before I get into it, the levels that found in Amir Khan's system were 0.5 nanograms or whatever. And I think for it to be performance enhancing, it has to be 10 milligrams or something like that for them to declare it as performance enhancing. UKAD have already come out and said that it wasn't intentional. He hasn't cheated intentionally. I know there's people on there, I've seen fighters and that trying to say he's a drugs cheat, this, that, the other. You can't believe UKAD in them saying that he failed a drugs test, but then not believe their scientists who have actually done their homework and said that he's not done it intentionally. You can't have it both ways. Because if you're not going to believe that it was unintentional, then you can't believe that he failed a drugs test either. You can't have it both ways. You have to believe what their scientists are saying. Their scientists are saying that it was unintentional. The levels that were found in his system was so low that there was no performance enhancing elements to what he had in his system. So what that means is that the levels that were found didn't really give him any performance enhancing. There wasn't no performance enhancing from what he had in his system. So the level of drug found wouldn't be a performance enhancer. So that's what I read. That's what I took from what I read, right? So you can't have it both ways just because you want to slate somebody or smear somebody's name or damage their reputation. I think Amir Khan should look to fight this. And look, I don't know what he's going to fight because obviously if it's found in his system, irrespective, something's been found in your system, you should still be banned. So he's been banned, but they've said that it's unintentional. He hasn't done it intentionally. So they've already said that. So I don't know what he's gonna because that thing was in his system. I think he's accepted that. And I think UCAD have accepted that it wasn't intentional because the levels found was not levels for it to be performance enhancing. So I don't know. That's it. I mean, I don't think there's anything more that can really be said about it. But the fact that we've only found about this now is absolutely embarrassing, because why has this just come out now? I mean, they must have known about this ages ago. So why have they only really leaked this now? It doesn't make any sense. That, having said that, from obviously listening to Amir Khan's interview, wasn't really an interview, but he was kind of confused. I believe him. I don't think he intentionally cheated. I think the levels that were found would suggest that. I saw some interviews from like Dave Coldwell and people like that, and some takes on Twitter and stuff, and like, nah, I think some people are just talking. No, Amir Khan's not liked by a lot of people, so I'm not surprised that people are going to call him a drug sheet, because that's what people like to do, especially somebody like Amir Khan, that there's a lot of people out there, because when there's a lot of people that don't like you, they come out the woodworks on things like this. This is similar to a Canelo situation, in my opinion, that where I feel like there was some little traces found, but there wasn't huge amounts found for them to say it was performance enhancing. Let's not forget, Khan and Canelo, or Khan's been banned, Canelo was banned for 6 months. Yeah, some people may say that's light, but he was banned. And these weren't like anabolic steroids. These were like trace amounts, small amounts, which, and I saw Dave Coldwell say, well, look, if you take alcohol and then you get done the next day, because there's still, but, you know, there's not as much amounts as what there were when you first, you know, took alcohol or you drank alcohol. If you don't get caught on the night, obviously the levels are going to be high, but the next day the levels are going to be much less, but you're still getting caught. Amir Khan was tested prior to the fight. He had multiple tests. Ben Shalom confirmed that. So if there was something in his system, that would have picked it up. Because how come a test after the fight picked something up and a test before the fight didn't, when he was tested by UCAD and VADA multiple times prior to the fight? On the week of the fight, Ben Shalom said he was tested. So if there was something, that there would have been something that popped up. So clearly this is something that's either happened after the weigh-in, when there was probably no testing, or maybe after the fight, where maybe he took a drink, or I don't know, because otherwise it would have shown up in the previous test. Because how come it didn't show up on the fight week before the actual fight? Because they had multiple tests. So if he had got done for something, that it would have come up then. So I mean, for me, it's quite open and shut. And I'm not even doing this because I like Khan, I'm a fan of his. No, if he was guilty, I would say, look, it's damning. But this doesn't look damning to me. This looks like, I feel like UCAD look at this and think, look, this is a high-profile fighter. He's failed, and this is a way of them putting a foot down and saying, look, with the whole Conor Benn situation, look, but I actually think it's made things look worse, because no one was informed, and it took a year for this to come out. So it's just strange. I find it bizarre. But do I believe Amir Khan? Yeah, I do. I don't think he intentionally cheated, because if he did, why would there only be trace amounts? He would have gone in for the whole shebang. I mean, yeah, I don't believe it. The fact that he took so many tests prior, if there was something that gonna come up, that would have come up in his system, right? So for me personally, I don't really make much of it, to be honest with you. I still think that obviously a ban should be necessary, because I think what a ban does, even though it's unintentional, it depends though. I don't know if a ban, because if just say someone has had some food and it's got into your system, it's unintentional. Having said that, it's your responsibility as an athlete what goes into your body. So as they were saying on TalkSport, strict liability, you still get banned. So in that case, when you look at it that way, yeah, he should have been banned. But that's why he hasn't been banned for 4 years, because if you get found that you've intentionally taken something, and here's the thing, scientists can prove if you've intentionally or not unintentionally taken something, because the levels found in your body would suggest it's not performance enhancing. Hence why he's got 2 years. But they still ban you because it was found in your system. Now, the only way I think you don't get banned is if you're able to provide evidence that that trace found in your system was of something that maybe was contaminated or something. So then in that case, they'd probably say, okay, no ban. In Amir Khan's case, obviously the case wasn't, or the evidence provided wasn't strong enough for them to overturn that. Now, will Amir Khan look to fight that. He might not, because he might think, I'm at the end of a career. What have I got? Why am I going to spend money on this? But then at the same time, Amir Khan has a lot of money, and reputation is everything. Because if your reputation is tarnished like this, who knows? You might not get gigs. You know, you might not. It might affect his. I don't think so, because I think he's so famous that he's gone beyond that point, and he's got made so much money that it's gone beyond that point. But I just think it's a bit of a mess. I think the whole thing's a bit of a mess. I don't personally think he's cheated. Personally, I think but it depends on what you classify as cheating. Some people may say if something in your system is cheating, but he's not intentionally cheated. He's not intentionally put something in his system for it to be performance enhancing, and the results would suggest that. You can't have it both ways. You can't 1 minute believe UCAD that he's failed a drugs test, but then on the second don't believe the scientists that have actually said that no, it was unintentional. You can't have it both ways. You have to either believe them or not believe them. So if you believe them that he failed a drugs test, then you have to believe him that it was unintentional, and what the levels found weren't performance enhancing. You can't have it both ways. I keep saying this. You can't have it both ways. You have to believe what the authorities say. The only thing is like with the Conor Benn situation, Conor Benn, they're saying that what they're saying with the Conor Benn situation, that they've kind of, VADA have actually cleared him. So he never got a ban because VADA actually accepted his explanation. With Amir Khan, they didn't really accept UCAD didn't accept his explanation. Even though they're saying the levels found were unintentional, what they're saying is that he took something, but he should have known. So what they're probably saying is carelessness from his part, but he didn't intentionally cheat because the levels found were too small. So that's what I think. So I personally think that's probably what it is. But again, I don't know. You don't know with these situations. I just find it bad because I think Amir Khan's got another thing against Naaman. That Amir Khan has a lot of haters. They're going to all pop out. I do think, like, people are saying, oh, is he going to tarnish his own legacy? Absolutely not. But when you're a big name like Khan and something like this comes out, I mean, especially when you're disliked by a lot of people, because even though, like I said, the evidence is suggesting that there was so little amount that it wouldn't have that much impact, people that dislike you are not going to, they're going to say you're a cheat, you know. Conor Benn, for example, Conor Benn's been cleared now. But with that was a lot more fishy with everything because there was 2 failed drugs tests, this, that, the other. It's a lot more fishy with that. With this, it seems like quite clear, really. It seems like he's either, you know, been a bit careless, you know, and, you know, taken something. And to be honest, I don't even know if he's taken, you can't even say he's taken something because he got tested on the week of the fight. So how can it then pop up? If something's going to be in your system, it would have popped up in the week of the fight. How's it going to pop up after the fight? That's what doesn't make sense. So if he's done that much testing during the week of the fight, how can it not pop up in the week of the fight, but then pop up after the fight? It just doesn't make any sense. This is what makes me think that he's innocent. That I think if he was to fight it properly, I think he probably has a good chance of maybe having that thing overturned. But I don't know whether he would fight it. I don't know the situation ins and outs, but I'm just going off logic, to be honest. I mean, this is a guy that was tested rigorously on the fight week and nothing popped up. Then after the fight, something popped up. I mean, so clearly there's something that he's taken after the fight, maybe right after, or just after weigh-in, or, you know, I don't know. This is what I mean. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, because if you're tested that much, it would have shown up, right? Prior to the fight, it would have shown up. So it doesn't make any sense why it would show up after the fight. So this is what I mean, unless it's like there's been a cover-up, which obviously not, because UCAD would have tested him on the week of the fight. VADA would have tested him on the week of the fight, and what was found in his system is banned across all governing bodies. So if it's banned, then surely that would have been picked up. So that's what tells me that maybe it's something that he took after the fight, or after the testing was done, or I don't know, after the testing was done, maybe before the weigh-in, or I don't know. But something, he must have taken a drink or something after the fight where it's probably popped up in his system in very low levels, by the way. Because Dave Coldwell was saying, oh, well, look, he might have taken something and there might have been low levels amount because there's a residual after that comes out your system after a period of time. Yeah, but he was tested on fight week several times. So how can that go out of your system and still be, it doesn't make any sense because the time scale the sequence just doesn't match because he was tested. So clearly he couldn't have taken anything during camp because if it does, the testing would have picked it up. They're saying this after the fight that he got done. So then after the fight, it must have been after the fight he consumed something. And if that's the case, then he's the most unluckiest guy on the planet. If he's consumed something after the fight that had traces of that in there. Because if you consume something after the fight, that doesn't make it right because, you know, especially if he's thinking about competing again because he was talking about fighting, rematching Kell Brook and he was other fights, whatever. But that's beside the point. For me, this is a more clearer case. I think if Amir Khan was to fight this, I think it would become more clearer and he'd probably get overturned. The only problem is once stuff like this comes out, even if he was to get this overturned, people don't forget. They'll say, no, they're not gonna forget it. You know, he's going to be labeled with that because once you get labeled this, people keep going on. Your reputation's always damaged once something like this comes out. So it is what it is. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. It's shocking news, breaking news, because Amir Khan wasn't somebody that ever struck me. And I don't think, and that's why I believe him in a way, because I don't think he comes across as a guy that would do something like that. But again, people believe what they want to believe. I've watched his whole career and he's done multiple tests throughout his career. I don't think, yeah. And most importantly, the performance showed that there was no performance enhancing. I mean, the performance don't really matter. I know Amir Khan said that, look, I lost the fight. Look at the way I performed. That's irrelevant in a way because you could be so badly shot to bits. You could take whatever. That doesn't mean your performance is going to enhance. You know, that's irrelevant. The fact is that shouldn't be in your system, wherever it was. But again, we have to note it was after the fight. So was this in his system prior to the fight? Because if it was in his system after the fight and he took something after the fight, and this is what I mean, can that be traced? Can that be traced? Can that be seen? Because he tested multiple times during fight week. So if he tested multiple times during fight week, how come it didn't pick it up? And that makes the testing system a joke, because how come they didn't pick that up if you had tested him prior? And how come something came up after? You see, this is what doesn't make any sense. Because if he had taken something during camp leading up to the fight, then why didn't it show up during fight week? So this is what doesn't make sense. But yeah, anyway, leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.